That was very important.
According in progress.
Yes, Joe, it is.
All set, Billy?
Yes, you're live.
Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, February 7th, 2024 meeting of the Norfolk County Commission to order. On Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, Governor Healy signed into law Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act making appropriation for the fiscal year 2023, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote participation through March 31st, 2025. Ask everyone to join me in saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Stady.
I am present, sir.
Commissioner Collins.
Present.
Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum. We have no executive session today. Number 4, minutes of the open session meeting of January 31st, 2024 for approval.
I move approval of the minutes as presented. Mr.
Second.
Chairman,
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Number 5, appointments. Today we have Paul Connors, who holds many hats in this room, but today he's here with his retirement board hat on. Paul is our appointee, the county commission's appointee to the Norfolk County Retirement Board. Paul's also a member of the Norfolk County
Advisory board.
Advisory Board,
The longest
representing,
serving member.
The longest- longest
yes,
serving.
he is now.
representing Rin.
I gladly pass that.
He
And the finance committee.
he passed Commission Stadies
Mhm.
last year. Paul, why don't you come up here? This is just a
Hi, Bill.
information session.
Just like Mahomes gonna bring
I
Brady.
think the last year or two, we've had
happened.
Paul in to talk to us relative to matters concerning
Yeah.
the retirement board. Little news, we all read the newsletter, we all do pay attention, but let's just consider this your reporting to us and saying, well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your appointment to the retirement board. I have been there for over 26 years. I've watched it grow from about $300,000 to $1.4 billion. So far, I'm glad I'm part of that. We've had a lot of activity happening actually in the last 2 months. But I did report back last year that we expect to be fully funded in 7 years. We're still on target, but fully funded. Now it's coming down to 6 years. After July 1st comes with the appropriations, we will be fully funded, which is a long time coming and very happy to see it. I've sat on the board now through 5 treasurers, I guess, 4 treasurers. Tim Cahill.
Must be more than that.
Five treasurers.
When did you,
At the end of Bob Hall's time,
I was gonna say, whoa.
and then Tim Cahill.
Joe Conley.
Conley,
Jimmy Timothy.
Conley,
Yeah, Joe Conley.
Joe Conley.
Joe
I
Conley.
said, no,
Yeah.
Joe
Okay.
Conley. I
Joe
said
Conley,
Jimmy
then Jim
Timothy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
five
And
treasurers.
And now Michael. So, our actuarial retired. They gave us notification in this past year that they were retiring. That was Dan Sherman Consultants. And we went out to bid for an RFP for consultants, and we ended up with 2 applicants. We selected Buck Consultants, and Buck Consultants just came in and did a actuary comparison to the original one done by Buck Consultants. And they ran their numbers. They just presented them to us last week, and they're in line within the margin without having any challenge whatsoever of comparison. The numbers are the same for the actual result. And then the Buck match was, they were win $200,000. So the comparisons are good. They reported to us that we're still on track to be fully funded in 6.5 years now. Beginning on July 1st. While they were there, we took the opportunity to find out from them what effect it would have for us changing our retirement base this year. As you know, we have the right to go to a cost of living adjustment up to $18,000 of a person's pension. You can't go any higher than that. Person can be making $100,000 a year, but you can only give them a pension based on $18,000. So last year we came before you because the law changed and gave us an opportunity to go higher because cost of living adjustment went up and everybody on Social Security got 5%, 6%, 7%. We were able to match that, but it took a very, very complicated vote. As you all remember, we started out with, we had to go to the commissioners for their vote first, then had to go to the town, various towns or heads of various systems. And their town manager had to make a recommendation. Then I had to go back to town manager or mayor. Then I had to go back to the councilors or selectmen for their approval. And I had to come back to the manager for recommendation, then back to the retirement board. The process went well. We were able to get it. There were only 2 towns. One didn't vote and one voted against it. Let me just say the names. I would love to, but I'm probably going to say the names.
We'll get it.
And this year it's changed. You can now raise the base up to, there is no number on it. We're looking to raise the base this year, making the base a $20,000 base, not an $18,000 base. Other towns have done it already. Some have gone considerably higher. The numbers match us to go to the $20,000, will allow us to go to $20,000 without an impact on the system or the funding schedule. So we haven't done that yet. We have to do that through a process. The process starts with the county treasurer's advisory board. We have to go to them, get their approval to do it, and then take a vote to do it. So that's another step. We're looking. So first of all, the actuarial was changed. We've gone with a new firm. They have done their preliminary results right here. Everything details, no changes. They refined the salary scale. They fixed a small issue with the way employee contributions were being calculated. And pay average is more appropriate with mid-year use in Norfolk County. So they are on track. We're on track. And one of the things that has to be done is every 5 years, you should do an actuarial evaluation of the system. Our 5-year period is up, so we just engage them to do that for us this year. They will do it starting May 1st and be done by the end of June. So we're on target. And by then, we hope to be ready to move. We're moving,
You mean physically moving,
physically moving.
not moving on the.
Last week, again, we voted to move the location from my current space. We are totally jammed. Some of you have been there. There is no room in there. The
We're leaving the great town of Canton?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let me
Well, I
guess.
don't know about that. Are they leaving the great town of Canton?
We have voted to leave town of Canton.
Going where?
boy. Oh, boy.
There were 2 places. I'll tell you that. One was in Canton.
I thought there was one in the run.
There were 2 on the run,
Okay.
and it narrowed down to the one that had more space, more accessibility, more visual ability for people. It was on ground level, not on the 3rd floor. No office that was tucked away in the corner with an elevator and no signage. So it's over on University Ave,
Westman?
Westwood.
No.
Well, actually, Norwood, I think.
Oh, no.
It's right on the Westwood Norwood line.
I don't know.
It backs up to the old golf course. All right, fronts the old golf
Yeah.
What
course.
was that golf course called? Hidden,
Lost Brook? Lost Brook? Yeah.
what was it?
Lost Brook.
Yeah, Lost Brook, yeah, not hidden, lost, yeah. That's right. When I golfed, I
That's
used to
not
go
the
there a lot.
That's not for a while, right?
Well,
No, we hope to move within, during the year.
Oh, really?
Coming
Oh,
year,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Getting ready to sign a lease for it right now. The board voted again, took
Yeah.
about, everybody toured, we toured about 8 different facilities. And
What
narrowed
about the one
it
that
to
was right
2.
across the street? That building was too small? In Canton, on the corner of the street. There was one right across the street.
Yeah, couldn't they had to put an addition on, and
Oh,
I
really?
guess, yeah,
too small.
and they didn't want, yeah.
They had a lot of
I
land.
wanted to go there.
They had a lot of land.
Yeah.
You know,
Wetlands too, though.
that's true. That's true.
He
I
was
know
an
that
attorney
site.
knowing that.
I know that site very
represented
well.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
move, pay raise, actuarial, and be fully funded in 7 years, 6.5 years.
That's awesome. Well, thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I got a couple of questions, but Richard, go ahead.
Real quick. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For you, of course. So you said that you're gonna raise the base up, or you're able to raise the base up.
Mhm.
If the base is raised, are we still looking at being fully funded by 2030?
As I said to you,
That's-
while
that's
the
okay.
people were there, we hit them with that.
Yeah.
Before we brought them in to talk to them, told them we were planning on that,
Okay,
and they said no.
so that won't affect
No,
being
will
fully
not
funded.
affect it.
That was great.
We
That's
won't
great
do
news.
that.
By the way, great report. Thank you.
Thank you.
As Peter said. The second thing, help me a little bit on this one. Maybe I misheard you. You're saying the base is 18 or 20. That's the most a person can get on a pension? I misheard you.
Yeah.
I misheard you.
You can make a pension of $80,000,
Right.
$90,000, or $100,000. It's based on 80% of what your high 3 years were.
Right.
But when you get the cost of living adjustment, it's only based on 18,000.
Oh, the cost of living.
Cost of living.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. The states like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was something else.
No,
I
cost of
misheard
living.
you.
It's $540 a year at this
Yeah,
point,
that's
you know?
good.
And
Okay.
tell me if I'm wrong, that probably started because they're trying to help the $8,000 widows that are around.
Yes,
Their
absolutely.
Husband went out and they're still alive. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
A lot of people are not making a lot of money.
The median pension is not as high as you think it is.
Yeah.
In view of the line, we were talking about pensions today. But, everyone hears about the basketball coach at UMass or the former
Yeah.
president of UMass, but they don't hear about the,
The janitor in the town hall.
someone in the
or
registry of
somebody in the
deeds that
registry of
coming
deeds.
out and.
Yeah.
Still alive, and they went out in the 70s because.
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you.
That's what it's
It's all
about.
great show.
However,
Thank you.
my question is, and I should know this answer, but
Why, you got a source?
what?
Why do you have a source?
We have to plan for that, correct, John?
Yes.
So it's good to know as early as we know.
Mhm.
And then after certain member towns vote for it, and when you get to a certain threshold, it's a go, right?
Yes.
So you offer, okay, so okay. So we're down
And
the,
it's not just towns, it's units.
I don't remember, like housing
Used to be
authority,
towns, but we have 52 units.
housing authority,
Mosquito control, housing authority.
mosquito
yeah.
control, that's the one that always comes up, yeah, they think it's us. I know, okay. All right, I mean, anything we can do to
And
keep
It
everyone
is a great
informed.
board too. I mean, it served with Josephine Shea. She's the longest serving member, myself and Ed Little, followed by Lisa Sinkus and Eddie Little,
I think there was another one, so you said it.
Lisa.
Nope.
Yeah, so-
Town manager, who's the manager's rep? Town manager's rep?
They don't have a,
I thought they, okay.
Was she the treasurer of Walpole?
yes.
And it was for
She
one
gets
time,
appointed by them.
Okay.
it was for one time Tom Rory, and then it was
When he
Someone
retired,
from
he
Rentham.
stepped down, and then it was Karen Jello, and Karen
That's it.
retired,
Karen John.
and then it was, again, a number of people have served on.
Well, it's good to have you come in, even if it's just very brief.
I would
Right.
like to do it every year,
Yeah,
so.
it's good. It's very good. So, good job.
How about the first Monday in February every year? First Wednesday.
Unless you're busy.
No, I'm making time to be free. I won't take a funeral that day.
There you go. Thank
So
you.
you'll
Oh,
know.
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Any last call? Any questions
I'm good.
on the county retirement board update?
That's it. Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
talk
I'll
to you soon.
deliver those,
Thanks,
Paul,
Paul. Thank you.
Joe, thank you for being my
to
courier.
the easternmost point of the county. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
What is this? Did you give us that?
Yes, that's the rental proposal. And the properties that we're looking to move to.
Okay. I'm gonna copy it. Number 6, public comment. Each week we have a section of our agenda devoted to public comment. Anyone that comes in and notifies if they want to speak, or anyone out in Zoom land. So if there's anyone in Zoom land for public comment, now is the time. Did you hear from anyone tonight?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, last call for public comment. Anyone at all? Number 7, old business, I have none. Number 8, personnel matters for consideration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. I'm sorry. Commissioner Stady, you got
Yes,
those?
sir. Yes, sorry, Mr. Chairman. I move the following for approval. These are all having to do with the Norfolk County Agricultural School. First of all, move approval of notice contingent employment of Isabella Musiak of Bellingham as a student worker at the rate stated, effective date 2/8/24. So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
Second, I move approval of notice of contingent employment for Land and Homes of Franklin, student worker, rate stated, effective 2/8/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And third, student worker, a notice of contingent employment for Marliana Walucci of Holbrook as a student worker at the rate stated, and effective 2/15/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
We have one for the registry of deeds. I believe we were going to talk about, Mr. Chairman.
Sure, make a motion.
Sure. I'll move approval for the notice of appointment of Chad Rudolph of Dedham as a senior clerk at the rate stated, the effective date 2/27/24, replacing Susan Robson. So moved.
I'll second the motion for discussion on.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
So we have, as we know, obviously a hiring freeze taking place in the county,
Yes.
right? My question was that in the correspondence from the registrar who's here, he conveyed that the process of filling this position and the paperwork started before the hiring freeze. So that my question would be, if that's true, that would be an exemption. That would be like before the freeze actually took place. Is there any way to ascertain that, determine that, to make sure it's accurate, not to doubt the registrar who's here, but just to give us a foundation for being consistent? If it's true, I would be inclined to make a motion. I have made the motion, but I'd be able to support it. That's part of the situation. So just bringing it out there. Is there any way that, through the chair, this register is here, or, as you had said, our director had said, HR was going to be looking into this at the last meeting and doing some due diligence. So obviously I defer to any comments people want to make.
Well,
That's what I'm at. At least you know where I'm coming from.
that's the school papers. That's
Right.
part-time.
All right.
I'm looking at an application here.
Yeah.
So to be completed by the submitting department, the registry of deeds submitted this application January 24th, 2024. Originally, there was an effective date on it of February 5th. Now it's crossed out and it says February 27th, 2024. When did we take the vote on the hiring freeze?
December 13th.
December 13th. So I'm willing. I read this background information.
We did give I think we talked about having a freeze, but giving people a week's notice too, I think. I believe we did. We didn't say like, we're gonna freeze this meeting. Didn't we say a week in advance? We anticipated a freeze would be coming?
I don't have a recollection of that.
I thought we did.
Terms. It's
I
like
think-
that. I don't
we did.
recall
We
those
said we're
terms.
gonna have a freeze, because you talked about having a freeze, then we said if people, So, okay, going back to what I'm saying, I hope I'm not being redundant. If the paperwork or this position began on or about December 13th, then there'd be grounds for moving forward. Am I making sense here?
I understand your question.
Okay.
Are you addressing it to me or your
Well,
peers?
it's to my peers. Unless the registrar wants to be allowed to speak to the chair, but that's the chairman prerogative. So
Of course you can speak.
I just feel like that's, if the paperwork and the material was filed before the freeze, or this position became opening and we need to do it, there's an exemption. But if it's something that happened like last week, 2 weeks ago, so sympathetic, we can't really do it.
Where do we get this January 24th date?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Just
So
here.
they're going-
Greetings, greetings.
Well,
No, I came January and submitted the personnel pay. This process started in the fall. As a matter of fact, there was a posting in November, I believe, on Indeed. We just can't just fill somebody, so we started a process and it's, they have to take a typing test. They have to learn a little bit about the documents. I recognize it's your prerogative on the freeze. I'm just pointing out that, look, the registry of deeds is an operation that still needs to be run. Millions of dollars were collected, actually fiscal 23, $51 million collected. Documents are still getting recorded. So to run it like a business, it does make sense to have someone come in. So we did try to be respectful of the freeze, but we started this a long time ago. And, I came over and delivered the personnel paper. I appreciate it was on. I appreciate that the human resource people picked up on it. I wasn't aware. Well, it makes sense with the start date. They must have, changed the start date, the human resource people. I get it because it's a process. It takes time. So I had submitted a letter. I incorporate the letter. I have a copy. We need to refresh it. I can just give it to all of you. It's really that we prefer to onboard and train people, and we need to train people. We need to get people in there. So at some point, as I understood it, we can come to the county commissioners department here, the county commissioners, and kind of ask for some consideration. It's a funded and approved budgeted position. That was the letter that went to each of you when I came over here on the 24th.
Right.
But respectfully, this started before the blue paper was done. And as a matter of fact, was completed before that. I don't know if the chairman disagreed. Joe, that was the letter that came.
we got that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
And it just makes sense. Yes. Usually the spring season is busier. It just makes sense to train people. You want to get people in there and get trained so that when things, there's always something to do. Those records go back to 1793 and the security of the records is important. So it's important to get people. It's a funded and approved position. And more importantly, it's a position that you need some lead time to get people in and train. And this would actually be ideal. So I would appreciate your consideration in doing that.
A question, Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
to you, obviously to our director. Do we know when this hiring freeze might be lifted? We told it to be temporary because we wanted to make sure that we were okay, and I'm hearing it's working well. Is there any idea when we're gonna lift the hiring freeze?
John.
The hiring freeze and the spending freeze were voted simultaneously, with the understanding that the county would revisit those items when the economic circumstances that projected a deficiency for FY 24 changed. And as of today, that has not changed. So right now, I can assure you that the spending freeze and the hiring freeze will go through June 30th. At that time, we'll assess what FY 25 looks like.
Say one more time, I'm sorry, go through when?
The end of June, the end of this fiscal year.
June. Oh, okay.
The change in starting date is by request of the applicant. So it's not, there's no date.
Yeah, I would think,
I didn't-
again,
yeah, well, the change in
I'm
date is-
glad you
I
brought
don't
that to
think
my
the
attention.
issue.
Yeah, that's, it changes because of the process and because of people's schedules. So, but again, I just point out the job is, wish they got paid more, but it's 41,998.48. We're just talking about, just hearing you talk about it, just trying to get someone in here who's qualified, someone hopefully that'll help the operation. And, given the amounts of monies that the registry collects, even through January 31st, the registry share was over $1 million between July 1st and January 31st. We just finished the fiscal year. So monies are being collected, and I think it's important. It's a union staff position. I think it's important to send a message to the union employees that their union's valued. And again, I wasn't aware that the hiring freeze is going through June 30th, but we need somebody in there. And to me, that's a decision that should be made here at the board. And I would appreciate if you would sign the personnel paper so we can get the registry running the way it's intended to be run. Thank you.
But not to be argumentative, politely, we have heard from your press releases and own information, receipts are down, which would indicate that, the real estate market's slowing down. It is, we all know that. Receipts are down, so that would indirectly mean that maybe the workload is kind of reducing too. So maybe this is one we can sit on for a little while and revisit it later.
We've been sitting on it since the fall. We started the process. You did your vote in December.
Yeah.
Again, I have an economics degree. I'm not an economist, but we try to. Last year, we still collected $51 million, even in a small year, and still recorded over 100,000 documents. Not as high as years past, where 330,000 documents.
Right.
Now, again, they're saying whatever a soft landing means, that there's no recession, that interest rates might be coming down. That means it could get better. Receipts could get better. The spring market traditionally gets better. We need, it's a position that needs to be filled. And I think it's an ideal time to fill it. I don't see for 41,000. I think it's a good investment because even though it may be slow, Commissioner Stady, you still have to train people. You still have to train them on the documents. It's a quasi-legal agency where you're dealing with legal documents. So, and there's always something to do with the documents, although, the indexing projects, the things that have been done to modernize the registry, we have documents that have been transcribed, the handwritten documents. So we always need the people to do the things that the registry is known for. And I do believe, all of us benefit from a functioning, good registry of deeds, and this would help that.
I'm just, again, I'm asking for the sake of discussion. I thought in terms of the hiring freeze, I thought that our intention was there'd be no new position. If this position's already in his budget,
No new hires.
no new hires.
Yeah, we were trying to avoid layoffs.
But this person's already in the budget, you're not retiring. This person will be replacing.
Not this person.
Not this person,
This position.
Not a
Position.
I'm
promotion,
sorry,
it's a
I'm
new
sorry,
hire.
say again. Is this a brand new position?
No,
Or-
it's a new hire because a person got promoted. So it's an existing budgeted and approved position in the registry budget.
Right.
And again, to Commissioner Collins's point, if it's an economic thing, the registry generates money. The registry is a surplus-oriented operation. And so just on the deeds excise alone, not counting what was sent over to the Norfolk County side, over $1 million was sent between July 1st and January 31st. That's more than enough money to pay for, the registry operations, but in specifically
Right, just,
41.
so this person, Chad, would be supposedly replacing Susan, right?
Yeah,
So
because it
if
moved.
Susan moved up. Bear with me.
Yes.
So then Susan bumps somebody else out, right?
No,
Ultimately, did somebody retire?
what people,
Somebody leave? at the
people
top?
retire. Yeah, people
So-
have retired.
What I'm trying to say is, it's still not a new, it's not technically a new thing. It's-
We're not adding numbers to the
We're
budget.
replacing somebody within the budget.
Exactly.
It's not a new one. It's not,
It is a new hire.
The new hire, but it's an old position.
Backfill.
okay. We did it for the school. The schools are exempt.
I'd actually give us the same consideration the school gets.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
I think I realize it's a budget position,
Yeah.
but I think either we're gonna enforce the no no new hiring until we see where we are. I'm not gonna support this at this time. Under normal conditions, we have and would, and I would, but, I'm trying to hold the line, and I don't think there's any other, I don't wanna get into who it is, what it is, because a lot of that's not, certainly not the issue. So there's no other issue. In my mind, it would be against the hiring freeze, and I'm trying to hold the line as much as possible. I was never say never. I wouldn't say that, it couldn't change before June 1st. We're accepting budgets now, I'm sure. And I mean, I would not take this job out of the budget, leave it there, leave a zero next to it, but I'm not gonna support it at this time. And it's got nothing to do with anything else other than the job freeze. Commissioner.
Thank you. I had some questions for the director, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, so, John, when we did the hiring freeze, you came to us and you said that the money coming in was insufficient, and I think it was like about $1 million that we were short, something like that.
Just under a million.
Okay. And since then, since the hiring freeze went into place on December 13th, 2023, has our position improved?
From a revenue perspective, no.
So we're still $1 million short.
Relatively speaking, that's correct.
All right. And I know that the goal in putting forward the hiring freeze was to protect jobs. We didn't want to do layoffs. So nothing's changed. And for that reason, I won't support this also. I'm sure Mr. Rudolph is a fine person. I'm sure he's a great candidate.
That's why.
I'm sure he'd be a great hire at the registry, but to hire this individual to maybe lay him off later or lay off other people so that he can keep his job, I can't support that.
That's a tough call. We're still $1 million short, John?
Yes, sir.
All right, one other thing. Again, if I'm
Go ahead,
inappropriate,
Commissioner.
call me out of order, please, but we have, here's the elephant in the room. Could this be funded in a different way? Out of the, excise feed fund or whatever you call it, I don't want to go down that road, but is that
The
appropriate?
registry is not the source of the of whatever problems or deficits. So the $1 million I spoke about for this fiscal year
Right.
came from July 1st to January 31st. Over $1 million is the 40% share of the registries. You've gotten even more. The county has gotten more. And again, I'm just here to advocate for the registry, but the registry generates surpluses. The deficits aren't with the registry, and respectfully, even this one person, we're more than halfway through the fiscal year. It's 7 months. I mean, the salary is only 41,000. We're talking about 20,000. I'm sure even within our budget, because of retirements and things like that, and again, it takes time to fill, that the monies are there. So, respectfully, the registry needs, to keep generating a good operation. And, I hear hiring freeze, I hear spending freeze, things have been spent in other areas, and we're just asking that, I mean, monies have gotten spent in other areas, and I'm just asking that this person be hired. Respectfully, Commissioner Collins, I mean, it's not like money's not being spent, right? On your legal bills, you're still spending money, right?
Thanks to you, yes.
Well, I'm not spending any because I don't have an attorney. You got it, so I'm not spending any.
Listen, legal bills got nothing to do with it.
Well,
This is straight employment. We have an employment freeze.
Well,
I don't want
no,
to,
but
the jumping around,
I
$1 million
know.
here, $1 million
I
there.
came over I was hoping things would move forward positively. There's a need for the registry. Yes, there's exceptions made at the Aggie School to hire people,
The
Yeah.
Aggie School is not part of the
But-
hiring
but-
freeze.
but you hire seasonal people, correct? Don't you hire seasonal
I
people?
hired 3 today, yes. I
Yeah,
did.
well, but not just the Aggie, but at the golf course. I mean, you're hiring seasonal people. This is a permanent job. It's not an extra job. Our positions have been cut. It's an existing union job. My dad was in the union for 38 years. I think it's important to help the unions. And I'm sorry. I mean, respectfully, Commissioner Collins, a court said that there was unlawful, no, that there's been unlawful
I don't mind.
interference with the
I don't
registry.
mind. You're out of
It's
line.
not-
Wait a minute.
You know, if you want to run for the registry of deeds, run for it. If you want to run the registry
All right,
of
all
deeds,
right. We're
run
going-
for it, because it's up this year. Why don't
Going
you
down the
run
wrong
against it?
path.
Well, because this is
Register-
undue,
It's a wrong
it's
path. Please,
Actually,
respectfully.
technically
please, we
speaking.
can get our
let me
papers
interrupt.
today. as a matter of
Let's
fact.
keep it.
It
let's
was
keep it on
going
that.
down, yeah,
All right,
but
we went off the
it-
track.
it was
We
going-
went off the rails.
it's interfering with
Technically,
the
if I'm,
registry.
if I'm hearing this right, for an effective date for Susan of 2/27,
Right.
which means February is over, we're looking at March, April, May, and June. We're looking at
They
4
did
months.
adjust the date. That,
Well, for 4
that's
months,
still
no,
not-
we're not really, we're not looking at 40,000, gentlemen. We're
Exactly,
looking at 4 months,
exactly,
which is probably like 10,000. Or
exactly.
I find it
true,
hard
but
to
once
believe
and we do it generally all the time,
that- Right,
once we fill these positions, they're always there. They're gonna be there.
right.
I mean, I said, I look forward to looking at this
Well, I mean,
in next year's budget
that's the
with
thing.
a zero next to it coming
That's
into
the thing.
July.
The problem is that we might, even if we collectively voted, the problem is looking at our budgets, Bill. This person may have to be cut, in your budget moving forward. I don't even know yet. You're preparing your budget. That's your business. But I'm saying,
Respectfully, I mean,
I'm saying,
I served on this board.
Yeah.
Did we ever lay people off when we served on the board? No.
no, we don't want to.
And you haven't laid anybody
No,
off.
we don't
So
wanna-
res- And you don't want to,
We
but,
don't
We
want-
know.
and I get it, but,
Yeah.
but the registry generates revenues for the county in general, but
Right.
in specific, those revenues are for the registry.
Right.
And there's two aspects. I keep mentioning the $1 million, which hasn't been earmarked. That came over. That's registry revenues for registry projects, July 1st to January 31st, over $1 million. That's the 40% share. You get 60%. So you're well above 1 million. But to your point, I mean, we're only talking, March, April, May, June, 4 months. It's a $41,000 salary for all year. For 4 months, I mean, for 6 months, it would be 20,000. We're not talking a lot of money, and it's in the budget. It's an approved and funded budget, and there's a need for it. That's all I'm saying. That I just think that the registry needs to be run and just let it run the way it has run, because it's run well.
I don't disagree. When is your commissioner, sorry, when is registry O'Donnell coming in with his budget? Do you know?
I believe it's March 6th.
I think it's the February 28th or something.
We sent out a
Yeah,
calendar, right?
I don't
You
know.
are correct, February
No,
28th.
20, that's the day the sheriff's coming. I don't feel like my motion is gonna pass based on our discussion. I'm wondering if I can make a substitute motion. That's allowable.
Well, you can withdraw your original one, but
Okay.
I don't think anything can be said more today.
No,
That it won't come up again on February in the budget.
okay.
Again, we have a 1:30 bid opening that we've
Right.
advertised and
I was gonna move
I
the
want to
table.
be timely.
Table this to the day of the budget after we review the budget. By looking at the budget, might give you a better appreciation. Maybe not.
Okay, motion
Unless
to
you wanna call for a
table.
vote. I'll get, it's your call, Mr. Chairman. It's your call.
Well, no, a motion to
I made a
table
motion.
the appointment of a senior clerk, JG 9-3 at $41,998 a year. Replacing Susan Brusp, if that's the
Yeah.
right pronunciation. Motion to postpone this to the registry budget. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion, or do I have a second?
I'll second.
Who made the motion?
All right, I'll make
You
that
made the
motion.
motion. You
I
can't
made the
second.
motion. I wanted to postpone any action until then, but unless you want to vote on my original motion, it's the chair's call. You don't have to
I'll vote to
Sure.
postpone it, but I know what's going to happen, but it doesn't bother me. I'd
Well, then let's do it today. Let's want
like to move forward today
All right,
because
I withdraw that. Let's vote today. I made a motion. Let's call for the vote
on,
on the first motion, I made, which was to appoint Chad Rudolph. Right?
okay, on the first motion,
Look at
which
that.
was seconded.
We made a second.
Discussed it.
We made a second.
It's all right, you seconded it. We discussed it. No more discussion. On the first motion to approve this appointment specifically of Chad Rudolph of Dedham, Mass. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
We're only talking $12,000.
All in favor?
We're only talking 12 grand.
All in favor?
I'll vote yes.
All, All opposed?
No.
No. This defeated at this time 2-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stady. Thank you. Thank you.
We're gonna,
All right.
we're gonna go down to 12, bid
Have a
opening.
good day.
Underground storage tank removal at the Norfolk Agricultural School. Nancy. The hour of 1:30 is come and gone. We're gonna open bid here.
Sorry. Anybody else there?
Oh, yeah, come on in, sir. We're a few minutes late. We apologize.
Good morning.
That's
Bye.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Wow, that's quite a number of people. Hey,
This first bid is from,
This
Just
is
grab a
good. We
seat.
should remove more tanks. It's probably leaking as we speak.
Let's not say that, no.
Huh?
No, let's not, go for that joke.
No, it's not in the school.
Nope.
Underground storage tank removal at the Norfolk County Agricultural High School. Is it, okay. Nancy, where'd you go?
I didn't have my readers.
Oh, okay,
First bid is from Brighter Horizons Environmental Group. And they're out of Air, Mass.
what's the name of the company?
Brighter Horizons
Brighter
Environmental Group.
Yeah.
They have bid $65,000. Alternate number one, add $30,000. Alternate number two, add $20,000. Boston Green Fuel Company out of Lakeville, Mass. They have bid $29,500. Alternate number one, add $48,200. Alternate number two, add $28,950. Green Site Services Group out of Franklin, Mass. They have bid $55,000. Alternate number one, add $54,000. Alternate number two, add $74,000. Darling Corporation out of Rentham, Mass. They have bid $28,500. Alternate number one, add $30,500. Alternate number two, add $40,900. Peter Amarillo Construction out of Sutton, Mass. Bid $58,346. Alternate number one, add $40,537. Alternate number two, add $24,451. SRS Petroleum Services out of West Bridgewater, Mass. They bid $45,100. Alternate one, add $32,000. Alternate 2 at 41,300. The Caniff Company,
What are they from?
just looking, I think they're Boston. Quincy, Mass.
Yeah. Long-time name.
They bid $24,500. Alternate 1 at $39,200. Alternate 2 at $13,450. Petroleum Management Services out of Reading, Mass. They've bid $50,750. Alternate 1 at $41,200. Alternate 2 at $74,425. That was the last bid, just right?
That's the last one.
Yes,
Any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, so 8 bids altogether.
yes.
Pretty substantial. Is it typical, this kind of project?
For a project like this, yes.
Is it really? Amazing. Is it the Aggie, right? Yeah.
Motion taken under advisement.
Yeah, move that we take it under advisement.
Which is no, we're gonna take this under advisement. to be
Yes, I'm gonna go through all
conform.
the bids and make sure all the
Correct.
required paperwork is there.
I'm just curious, what building are we talking about, John?
We're talking about 2 or potentially 3 tanks. The first one's the administration building. That has a tank that has to be removed, and the plant science building has a tank that
Okay, okay.
has to be removed, and there's a second tank.
Yeah,
It has bearing, alternate 1, alternate 2, it had to do with like more buildings and more
Yes,
tanks.
the main
What this
bid
is?
was for the admin building.
Is the admin, that's what I
and then we're
thought.
gonna go.
And the
from
other
there.
all-
And then the
our
other bid they were
alternates.
offering was for like other tanks that are in the ground at the
Yes.
facility. Okay,
Yes.
amazing, all right, thanks.
All right, we're gonna motion taken under advisement, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll
Thank you
get
all for
right to
coming.
it, though. Thank you.
Question.
What is the?
Any other
quick
questions? Go ahead, sure.
Is the basis of award on the base bid, or is it the total of the 3 at this point?
You'll have to talk to
Good
Nancy.
question. Yeah.
Go ahead, she'll tell
Good
you.
question.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank
Yep.
you all.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Richard, I have to go back to you for payroll and expense warrants,
got it.
number 9.
All right. Payroll and warrant list for 2/7/24. We have
Then
a
we'll do
lot, we have
opera.
a lot, including options. Move the following for approval of number 1, payroll of the county 24-31 on the sum of $146,839.92. So moved.
Bruce made second, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote. Next.
Next payroll for the school, 24-31, parentheses 16, move the amount of $375,910.51. So moved.
Motion made second, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote.
Next, the expense for the county, 2-01-24. Move the sum of $87,203.80. So moved.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
Next, I move the expense for approval of the expense for the school of 24-08. That's the line item, warrant list, sum of $172,791.50. So moved.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote.
Mr. Chairman, the next 4 are opera awards. One is for the town of Brookline, 1 to Westwood. Actually, 2 for Westwood and 1 for Franklin. And very happy to see the Brookline one. I'm sure we all are. The 24-32 opera award to the town of Brookline moves the sum of $5,388,559.73. So moved.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote, and we're gonna get to opera right after this.
Right.
Go ahead.
Next, Mr. Chairman, 24-32 as well. Opera award to the town of Westwood, this is for the school, $1,027,249. So moved.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Next, we have 24-32 opera award for the town of Franklin, and we're moving the approval of $500,000. So moved.
Motion made second, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote.
And the last one, move approval of 24-32 opera award, also again to the town of Westwood. This is for the sum of $250,000. So moved.
Second.
Motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
That
Thank you.
concludes that. You're welcome.
This concludes payroll and expense warrants. Let's go right to opera. Why don't we combine 10 and 11? If there's no objections, they were the same.
Mr. Chairman, very
We
briefly.
have some folks here.
Yep, on an ARPA update, and then I'll turn to Dr. Childs and Tyler for some Brookline reaction. This afternoon, I'm happy to report to the commissioners, you just passed a major milestone with the American Rescue Plan Act grant. With today's approval of over $7.2 million, the commissioners have passed the $100 million mark. We've now awarded $103,620,712. It's quite an accomplishment. These funds, obviously, in these numbers, will be clearly, not clearly, but they will be further studied and further analyzed when the communities report their closeout plans to us by March 1st. I've given the commissioners some updates previously on the work ahead to ensure that the communities that have awarded these funds optimize them, obligate them in a timely way. But it's quite a milestone, and I think you should be quite happy with that at this point. And I think I mentioned this to you before. Norfolk County leads the way by far on the amount of dollars out the door for community use. With respect to the ARPA awards, as Commissioner Stady just mentioned, you awarded 5 today, including the town of Brookline. It is their first award, but it is by no means their smallest, a small one. At $5.4 million, the Brookline Award is a premium pay reimbursement. This item, I know joining us is Dr. Childs and Tyler Belize Toller, who I know has done a ton of work. Is that an understatement, Tyler? Maybe not.
Understatement of the century, yes.
Of the century. It involved eligible employees within the town of Brookline receiving the premium pay benefit. I would say, based on the information provided in the application, it's affected hundreds of employees within the Brookline system. The scope and size of this obviously entailed a lot of research and analysis of Tyler's work with our auditors. And that's one of the reasons it took so long. But we're happy to bring it to you today. And I just want to recognize both Tyler, Chad Carey, the town manager of Brookline, and of course, your advisory board chair, Elizabeth Childs.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, Commissioner. Thank you so much for finishing this vote on this. I mean, it was a ton of work by both the county staff and the town of Brookline staff, and we are thrilled to get this first award out the door. It's just great. Thank you very much, all of you, all
You're
commissioners.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Happy to see it happen.
Great, yeah.
Tyler, I think it's safe to say that you have other grant applications in the queue and that Brookline expending their allotment will not be so much of a challenge.
Not going forward. Premium pay was probably going to be one of our most complicated, bulky projects. So we're really confident about what we're going to start front loading into the queue here pretty soon, hopefully even within the month. So.
Okay. And I'm sure you're aware through Chad that the March 1st deadline for the closeout plan is very important to that process.
Yes, I'm aware. I was in that meeting as well.
So unless you have any other further remarks with Brookline, I'll just move on to the other 3 awards.
Thank you, Brookline.
Yeah, great, that's great. We're glad that it finally happened, so congratulations.
So the second award was just over $1 million to the town of Westwood. This was a reimbursement under the public health category to fund the Pine Hill Elementary School, a portion thereof. The project encompassed various elements: the creation of additional parking, versatile sports field, baseball field, an outdoor classroom, and a playground. This particular project is notable as the school is designed to be capable of achieving net zero energy efficiency on its way to obtaining LEED silver certification from the U.S. Green Building Council. With this funding allocation, it allows the school project to be reimbursed for the crucial HVAC improvements that are made to enhance the public health of that particular new school. The second award given to Westwood today was also, I believe it also was a reimbursement.
Security cameras and stuff.
In advance, excuse me, under revenue replacement. Yes, it's for the town of Westwood currently has systems installed in buildings dating back a generation. The proposed system known as Verkada will represent a comprehensive integrated solution of cameras, access control, which will bring about significant transformation of Westwood's public spaces, public building spaces. The project will facilitate real-time monitoring and enable authorities to respond quickly to incidents and ensure the security of the town spaces. And then finally, Franklin's $500,000 was an advance under the water sewer category, the Pond Street Sewer Rehabilitation Project, Phase 1. So that completes your 4 applications today. I know it's been several weeks since the commissioners had a chance to approve an ARPA application. These represented $7.165 million. There are a couple of other applications making their way through the queue. I don't expect them to be ready by next week, but they'll be behind us shortly. And again, I wanted to emphasize the communities must be pivoting into the closeout planning phase, which will kick off March 1st. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions on today's opera awards?
I have a quick question, but not on the
Commissioner
award,
Collins.
not on the award. So, I know Milton had a couple of bucks left in their, in the opera system. Have they applied for that? Do we know?
I'll have to get back to the commission.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do so.
Okay,
Nice,
last call for opera.
nice job.
Good to see Brookline on board. We've been waiting, so it's good. Congratulations. Keep it coming. Good
Thank you.
time.
Yeah, in fact, Tyler, if the select board or members of the Brookline leadership wish to have a check presentation ceremony or something like that, our commissioners love road trips. Brookline's a great place to visit. So let Bill Buckley know if there's anything of interest out there, okay? We'll invite Dr.
Absolutely.
Childs as well.
That'd be great.
We'd
Thank
love
you.
to have you up there, so.
Oh, good, good. Love to go.
Speaking of Bill Buckley, number 14.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, number 13, contract awards, we have none. Number 14, approval of intermunicipal agreement with the town of Westwood for weights and measures inspectional services. Bill, why don't you give us an update on this, and we're ready to go with the.
Through you, Mr. Chair, when we go to
This is
Brookline, I'm
agreement.
sure Dr. Childs will take us to all the best places to eat there as well, post.
Absolutely.
Excellent. I had to get the plug in there before you jumped off.
Yes.
I am proud to say that our continually growing regional service department has netted our next customer for the weights and measures program, the town of Westwood, after a really productive dialogue with Manager Chris Coleman over the past few months between myself and Bill Mullen. Westwood has decided to join our program. They're joining our program along the same terms as the other 4 communities. They will pay a $10,000 entry fee in FY25, as well as a $4,000 annual fee. We're really excited to have Westwood because, like Canton and Needham, they are right next door, and so the travel time and the ability to respond rapidly from the county complex here in Dedham is ideal as well. So we have number 5, we have number 6 and 7 we're dialoguing with for FY25. So before you is just we're looking for an assent to enter into an agreement through and instruct Director Cronin to sign an intermunicipal agreement with Westwood.
Commissioners, any questions?
Oh, it's great. Great work, Bill. Good.
When are they coming aboard, Bill?
When we sign, we'll inform the Division of Standards, and we'll probably begin inspections by
Okay,
Monday.
ready to sign.
Need a vote today?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll move, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman, through you,
Absolutely.
move approval of the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Westwood for weights and measures inspectional services with the Norfolk County Commissioners, effective today, this date.
And to empower me to endorse the agreement.
In fact, when the
Yes.
agreement,
Right.
comes before us, but we're asking for it right away.
Sounds good.
Motion made, and seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. This adds Westwood to the weights and measures program. Thank you. Number 15, County Engineering Department request. Vote to authorize chairman to sign a Mass Dot attestation that required filing for a MassDOT order of taking on Mechanic Street, Route 140 in Bellingham, Mass. Plan and written instrument has been filed in the Norfolk County Commissioners Records, Volume 32, Plan 2202, 1-3 Bellingham. So Commissioners, I have the file here and I have the letter. If you'll authorize me, any questions we can do first. This is a one-page document outlined as presented by our engineer. It says, I hereby certify the following plan and a written instrument has this day been filed in the office of the county commissioners. Copy of the plan bearing thereon a certificate dated November 22nd, 2023, attesting that the Mass Department of Transportation Highway Division has taken easements in the parcel of land hereby referred to as parcel 15D-1, shown on said plan. Attest Joseph P. Shea.
Mr. Commissioner, the county engineer is on the line if you wish to have any
Patrick, any
Any
questions?
questions, Pat? Any
What are we
comments?
doing here?
No, you're all set, commissioners.
Richard, you want to make the motion?
Sure. If there's no further questions, Pat, any more comments you want to make? Anything?
All set. Thank you.
All right. So that I would move, as requested, move that we authorize our chairman, County Commissioner Joseph P. Shea, to sign the Mass DOT attestation that the required filing of the said Mass DOT order of taking on Mechanic Street, Route 140 in Bellingham, Mass. Plan and written instrument has been filed in the Norfolk County Clerk's record as described herein.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I have signed it, and it's on its way back to you, Patrick.
Okay, thank you, commissioners. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Number 18, number 16, report of the county director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly, today is the deadline to receive the proposed departmental FY25 budgets. Early this morning, I started to receive several of them, so they're starting to come in. There was one question through the schools, and it occurred to me I should make a public announcement about this. It's a little early, but based on the trending revenues and our spending freeze as discussed earlier at this meeting, while departments may be positioned to ask for and are encouraged to put in any capital requests that they may need, there's a very real possibility that I would not recommend any capital funding for FY25. So in other words, as we close FY25, we have certain obligations that we have to meet with any surplus that's developed from it. The most significant is the requirement to use 10% of the community assessments that come to the county every year to pre-fund the next year budget. In this case, it's over $700,000. So we'll be watching as we come very close to the end of fiscal year 24 to determine what our revenue collections look like, how they measure up for a potential surplus, and if indeed there is enough to sustain FY25 capital needs. So it is unfortunate right now that I can't give you a better answer, but if there's no money to fund it, there'll be no capital budget for FY25. Recommended.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Things are that dire suddenly? What happened to the Quincy sale? We banged over $10 million, and that was supposed to be put aside for capital programs.
And it is.
So how can you say we're not going to have any capital in 25?
Because the way the county funds its capital project is much like a community's free cash or CapEx.
Okay.
Right now, we don't project any surplus in FY24. So without a surplus, we won't have any additional funds for FY25 to afford that type of a capital project. So we fund our capital budget with surplus, Commissioner Stady. Now, to the extent that we have capital projects specifically that you would like to fund, brick and mortar, vertical, horizontal projects, that's what the capital improvement fund is for.
Okay.
They are distinctly different. So
Okay. You're talking about different things. Okay.
they're similar. It's a good point,
Okay.
but
Okay.
you could draw upon that at some time if you wish, but commissioners have not given a clear direction at this point as what to do with that balance. You did approve, I believe it was just over a $2 million draw from that for the Dedham Superior Court HVAC project, which will be fully reimbursed by the state. But using the surplus to fund our capital is a method that was put in place before I arrived. And I think it's because the budgets used to have the capital within the line items. My predecessor removed them and created a surplus funded capital cycle. We usually like to budget for that at the same time when we do our operating budget approvals, but based on the projection of revenue at this time, I can't see a large surplus at this point developing for FY 25.
Okay, follow up then. So let's go back in time, because we have the Abraham report, it's supposed to be a Bible in
Right.
terms of planning, which we relied upon. If we don't do that kind of funding, where does that put us in terms of that report? And we're off, we lose a year, we lose time.
So one of the things the Abraham's report brought forward was the need to plan out your capital needs. Most communities do 5-year views, 5-year capital plans. The Abraham's group put in place a 5-year view. And at this point, one of the major components to the county accurately projecting and managing those needs has not yet been put in place. We had funded, but for a variety of reasons, we did not purchase a capital asset management system to validate and track when your HVAC units are in need of replacement, when your roofs are in need of replacement, windows, boilers, and other infrastructure. We don't have that information. The information that the Abraham's group provided to you back in FY 2021 was anecdotal, and it wasn't firmly placed in any kind of need. So we haven't really evolved that. I look forward to investing in that type of software when the funds from surplus begin to emerge. It's a project that really needs to reside within facility maintenance. They're the ones who have the eyes on most of our asset needs. So until then, I think we'll probably stick to a 1 year at a time facility capital planning cycle. And it doesn't do anything to answer your question more directly. It doesn't do anything to skip the year because you don't have money. It just means you're not feeding into the need to update, maintain capital infrastructure, which is a shame, but we have to pay our bills at the same time.
All right, last question, if I
Go
may.
ahead.
Will our department heads though still be expected to provide capital needs? So we have. an
Yes,
idea of
they
what
are
we want.
encouraged to send.
So even though
in-
we may not be funding it, but we still want to have an idea of what they're looking at.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right.
I want to talk about my irrigation at the golf course.
Right, well, I'm,
I told them to put it in the
yeah.
budget yet.
Yeah,
Certainly
Carl
will.
asked, yeah.
so that's what I was thinking about too, but okay, all right.
So also, just briefly, the commissioners should be aware, but maybe they're not, the budget interview schedule is set, beginning February 21st, 2 weeks from today. You'll be seeing, the agricultural high school and the Wallaston recreational facility on, excuse me, on February 28th, as Register O'Donnell just mentioned. He'll be in with his FY 25 budget request, followed by engineering. The third and final visit is on March 6th. You'll see the commissioner's office, which includes the RCP program, information technology, weights and measures, as well as the treasurer's office, interest, debt obligation maintenance. That is your budget interview schedule. And just going back very briefly to the upcoming larger meetings following the departmental hearings through early March, there'll be a commissioner's public hearing on the budget on March 13th and a commissioner's vote on the FY 25 budget March 27th in preparation for your April 10th Norfolk County Advisory Board meeting. So that's the bigger picture in terms of scheduling, but in a couple of weeks, you'll start to see the departments coming in. Of note, and I want to recognize John Wallace is here, he informed me that the Norfolk County trustees are meeting in March next, and there won't be an opportunity for the trustees to have voted on the school's FY 25 budget before you see it. So in other words, he's going to show you or preview his proposal before the trustees. It's a little backwards, but I'm sure we can work around some presentation and approval of the school's budget. But I just wanted to let you know that he intends to have the trustees look and vote on the budget in March.
Well, we have a meeting next week.
Right,
Yes.
that's not to approve the budget, that's to approve tuition rates
Okay,
and a preliminary view of the budget, because the preliminary budget would give you some insight into whether you want to approve the tuition.
okay,
But the budget itself, in its detail and explanation, is not presented until March.
okay, right, okay.
Um,
Thank you.
Moving on, I'd like to thank Mike Jarden, our project manager in engineering. He submitted a presentation of completion of an existing conditions topographic survey at the Town of Dover Highway Garage. I briefly read his report. Per the Town of Dover request for services dated September 22nd, 2023, the engineering department has completed an existing condition survey of the highway garage in the property. It was a response to the drainage system failure and flooding on site. The work consisted of research, boundary line retracement field survey, topographic detail field survey, office calculations, and preparation of a final plan. It should aid the town of Dover in the design and construction of new drainage on site. So service completed and well done by Mike over at engineering, and thank you for that. Let's see. Within the next week or two, we should have our 2021 annual report ready for the commissioners to approve. Shortly after that, and presuming we have our approved FY22 audit completed by Powers and Sullivan, you'll see the 2022 annual report. So we're catching up on the approval and distribution of our annual reports over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Let's see. Wanted to also thank John Vignoni from Facilities. He completed his cyclical assessment of each of the county properties. He submitted those to me yesterday. I'll be reviewing them later this week. Since I arrived, John does pretty much every 6 months, he goes to every county building after hours and he assesses after feedback from the custodians and supervisors. What are the needs? What are the improvements they're making? It's a good record of the condition of each of our buildings, and I just want to recognize it's a lot of work. He did a nice job as always submitting that to me. I wanted to alert the commissioners. Mr. McGowan now files facility incident reports with me whenever there's a matter involving urgent response or issues with our facilities. And on January 31st at approximately 12 o'clock, a little after 12 o'clock, an incident involving a citizen at Dedham occurred right behind the Registry of Deeds. Through video, we can observe a citizen going into some kind of distress. The citizen fell to the ground. I want to thank Chris Perry and Patrick Higgins from engineering who observed this happening and responded to this person immediately. It looked like the event occurred at approximately 12:13 when the citizen was on the ground. 4 minutes later, it was observed by Chris and Patrick, who immediately rendered assistance to the individual in comfort and called for facilities to assist. Mr. Vignoni, Mr. McGowan responded as well. They knew the individual. They contacted the individual's family while 911 was called. Dedham Fire arrived on the scene at 12:23. So within 10 minutes, an individual looking for assistance was given that and escorted to the hospital. To the and the thanks goes to those individuals for their help and assistance, rendering aid to somebody in need. So thank you again for them for their help.
Good job.
Nice job.
Yeah, good job.
Very much so. And just the commissioners from time to time ask, and I'll share with you from Tara DeFonso by way of John McGowan and John Vignoni, some facility updates. Superior Court, our plumber is working on a leak in the main courtroom. He's painting the room in the basement. In Quincy, the plumber is working on a leak in the clerk's office bathroom. In Rentham, the electrician is replacing a light in the lockup that fell, while the carpenter is working in lockup and closing pipes. That last item is important. Commissioners may recall that the trial court sent out an assessment team to the Rentham holding cells and determined that there were numerous anchors that could be used for suicidal attempts by inmates.
Yep.
A lot of work. I talked to John about this earlier. The plumber had to reroute several pipes, and what remained had to be boxed in. And you can see the carpenter is now finishing his work on that. So it's taken a while, but it's nearly done. He
That's
also
good.
replaced ceiling tiles on this floor after a roof leak. And then finally, our painter has painted the law library lunchroom and area in the probation department. So they've been busy this winter getting their indoor work done, and we thank them for that.
Stop for a second. if I
Yes,
can.
sir.
On
All right.
Rentham. Were they gonna do also a new, so something in Rentham that John McGowan had mentioned to me about a year ago. They were gonna do something in front of with the judges. They wanted to do a do-over there. Like move where the prosecutor stands.
Yes, I haven't got an update on that. Yes,
Then
there was a
kinda-
desire by a justice to redo all of the carpentry and millwork surrounding the bench.
Right.
I believe that Clark has a very narrow space to work in. They were looking to modify all that. I don't have an update on that, but I'll
Okay.
get one for you.
Okay, that's all.
All right.
That's, yeah.
And for the commissioners' benefit, last week we talked briefly about when the next association meeting would be, and I imagine it was Plymouth that would be hosting next. So I extended the question to the Plymouth County folks, and they confirmed yes, they would like to host. And they're offering Friday, April 5th as a date to meet. This date would be approximately 5 months after your last meeting, which of course was in Bristol back in December. So if it's okay with you, I will confirm with our
Go
Plymouth
forward.
hosts that you folks would be willing to join them on Friday, the 5th of April.
I just checked. Probably fine. I did, yeah.
Okay. That
If anything
concludes,
comes up, just let me know, but I'll tentatively.
That
Actually,
conclu-
careful,
go ahead,
we might have a problem.
April
On my
5th.
calendar, I have here Westwood ribbon cutting. They want us to go out. For Westwood wants to invite us for the ribbon cutting
That
for
is
their
a
school
problem.
that we helped them out, Opera. I'm just saying.
Can you check with Westwood and see if we can cut the ribbon?
Although it says here Westwood,
The
my
earlier
calendar
the better.
says 10.
10, that
Says
isn't
10,
too
and
bad.
then what time's the luncheon? Or whatever.
Undetermined, it's usually lunch,
Yeah.
might be closer to
We could
midday.
double up. I'm just saying. I'm
Okay.
trying to flag that.
Good call.
That's all.
We'll check with Westwood.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that concludes the report of the county director. Number 17, emergency items, topics the chair did not reasonably anticipate. I do not have any. Is there anything else, commissioners, you'd like to discuss today?
If I could, politely, just quick follow-up. Did the director have time to talk to Scott Lopez? And again, that lawsuit that I was named in, or we were all named in for the prison?
Yes, he said he contacted him
Oh, we did.
and alerted him of the matter. He never heard back. I think he left a message. He never heard back from him. That's the second time that same attorney's contacted on the same case. It was the same.
Okay.
So he said it's basically nuisance at this point. The attorney is just sending out letters without checking with the
What kind of case is this?
Oh, it's
MCI or something
yeah, it's
like
an
that.
inmate who's making a claim
Correct,
of
okay.
harm.
I'm sorry.
and,
All right, yep, we're aware of that.
Excellent. That is all I had.
We do get them from time to time and we see them.
My coffee's all done.
All right, I'll have a
Time for
motion to
another.
adjourn, please. I have
Yes.
another,
Yes, sir. I move we adjourn at 2:18.
motion made, and seconded, all in favor of
Aye.
adjournment. We are adjourned, thank you very much. We have a regular meeting next week. It's the 14th of February. Valentine's Day
And Ash Wednesday.
and Ash Wednesday, a double
Dubious
dip.
combination.
Double dip.
Dubious.
Can't close the
you want
dip.
chocolate?
You have to have
It's
fish.
like-
You don't love the Lord?
I do love the Lord, but I
You
gave
can
up
get your
chocolate.
ashes, but then you can get your ashes, but you can only have fish when you go out.
That's it. That's it. All right.
Got your
Right.
message.
So we're gonna go with April 5th? Should I put that in?
Well,
We'll
wait
put
for
it
this.
in. I'll talk to Bill about the
He's missed-
logistics with.
Yeah.
Guided it.
They moved that around a little bit. That was,
I recall.
They-
It's not about
moved
the
it back.
profitability. It's not about the profitability.
it's good.
Food
You
functions.
just gave $1 million.
Westwood.
Those expenses, if they just already,
All
were
right.
already in the tuition calculation, so moving it
Another
from one
meeting.
department to
How are you,
another.
Sam?
I'm good. Commissioner, how are you?
This
Always
maintenance
good to see you.
person
Good.
is maintaining the food.
Want to hear a funny
That
story?
affects nothing.
I mean, there's nothing you can do
adjustment
about
that
it.
we're
I want to
making
see
is
Andrew.
Showing net expenses, net